to study the past. They look at a number of things to confirm claims made by king's historian, for example, official historian. Rely on official historians. Historians know what to believe and what not to believe, and they raise questions.
Historians know what to and what to not believe.
Have you ever studied?
They're biased,
Look,
surely.
before we go on, have you ever studied history systematically? What are your credentials on history?
Sorry, I don't think you do a debate asking someone their credentials.
Well, you do. That's the first thing you do. That's the first thing,
No,
because
it's
you're
not.
raising
No, it's
questions.
not.
They are so basic.
If you can't answer without putting someone down, you haven't got.
I'm not putting you down.
If you're saying, "Oh, I've got good credentials," "Oh, you're basic," that's not a good debate.
No.
It's a weak argument.
Because you are talking in very primitive terms.
Again, I'm not saying you're arguing primitive terms.
Yeah.
Are you the best professor? Are you the know-it-all of all of
No,
these
I'm
things?
not. I'm not.
You're not.
I'm
Finally,
not.
some
But
humbleness.
no, of course, humility has nothing to do with this discussion.
Well, if you're putting someone down and saying I'm qualified, I think you've
me
lost some
challenging
kind of
your
point.
credentials on history because you're
weak
raising
argument.
points that don't make sense to historians.
Sorry, of course it makes sense. Saying someone is who's more educated, who's therefore reading, you're applying that to that audience. Same as the videotapes. You have an audience that you're catering for.
Have you studied neuroscience ever?
Yeah.
You have?
In my own kind of way. But again, that's
fine.
regardless of the
If
point.
you were standing here making claims about neuroscience, or
So you're
wait,
saying
relax.
people
Let me finish my
to
statement.
debate.
Let me finish my statement. There has to be a conversation, please.
Yeah.
If you were standing here making claims about neuroscience or
making
mechanical biology, like wait, or astrophysics, for example, I have the right to ask questions. Have you studied these fields? If the answer is no, then I would tell you to go and study. Likewise, history is no exception. Why do people think history and religion, any Tom, Dick and Harry can come and talk on religion and history?
So if you don't wait,
I'm finishing.
You're not qualified.
If you had a problem with your heart, you would go to a heart surgeon or heart specialist. You wouldn't go to a kidney specialist. Why? Because you're a sensible. You're a sensible person.
I know. I guess that's what historians do.
So the difficulty of talking to a historian is that a historian will speak
with. In the debate, you talk about another thing completely and diminish someone because you haven't got the answer.
No, I wouldn't stand there and talk about astrophysics. Wait. I wouldn't talk with my credentials. I wouldn't stand here and discuss astrophysics because I know my limits. I wouldn't. If there was an
If you don't know the answer, then you have to put someone down. That's what you're doing.
I think this is not a conversation.
Yeah.
You're not getting the point.
I get your
I'm
point.
saying
I get your point. You know
if
about-
there was an
you don't have
astrophysicist
to
in front of me, I would not challenge his credentials, especially when I haven't studied the field.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the point.
You're
So
also
the humility
saying
has nothing to do with it.
You're also saying your
Yeah,
qualifications.
you're making
You should
claims
go
like
there
history is
with
written by
qualifications to show out. Maybe
victors
everyone
and the
here
kings.
should have
And,
their qualifications that they say and show
okay,
before they talk.
let me give you an example. You know Procopius.
What's your relevance? Yes.
Do you know Procopius, who that is?
Answer, what was your point?
Do you know
I
Procopius?
don't
Yes
think
or
it's
no?
relevant. If
I'll
I
tell
know
you how
or
it's
not.
relevant.
Go and say it then. Tell me
Okay,
why.
do you know Procopius?
That's,
Do you know Procopius?
what's your point?
Yes, I can.
What's your
Do you
point?
know a blue
What's
flying
your
duck?
point?
You can
What's
say no,
your
I don't.
point? What's
right?
your point?
My point is, Procopius was a Roman Byzantine historian who wrote a secret history of Justinian, one of the most powerful Roman emperors.
Okay.
The reason why it's called secret history because it wasn't the state version of events. Wait, relax. Let me finish. Likewise, the reason why I gave you Procopius's example is because
So
Procopius.
there's alternative histories now you're saying. Okay, gotcha. Okay, carry on.
The reason why I mentioned Procopius is because that's a very famous, well-known example among the historians to debunk this idea that history is only written by kings and their court historians and victors. This is a lie. We historians, we historians. You said it, you just said it. You said it 3 minutes ago that history is written by kings and they
Mostly written by kings and leaders.
What do you mean mostly? What do you mean mostly?
I mean the majority are.
How do you know? If you don't know,
They are.
okay, do you know
Because
Procopius?
Most people that are educated tend to
Do you know
be-
Arian? Do you know Plutarch? Do you know Herodotus, for example?
So you're
Do you know
just saying
Herodotus?
things
Do you know
because
Herodotus?
You can't back up with what you're saying.
Again, I'm
Again,
I'm trying to show you you're
showing
making
you name
claims
words.
without substance.
Sorry, that's what you're doing. You're saying, "Oh, I'm qualified because I know words." That's all you're saying.
I'll give you
Without an
another. I'll
argument.
give you another
That's
great
exactly
example.
what you're doing.
One of the most powerful Mughal emperors in India was called Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, the famous Akbar who ruled India for 50 years. One of the most powerful Mughal emperors. One of his court historians wrote a secret history without his knowledge. His name was Mullah Abdul Qadir Badayuni. Wait, relax.
Okay, so-
Let me finish.
okay.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Don't cut me, please, when I'm making a
Sorry,
point.
go on.
My purpose is to educate people. He wrote this secret history called Muntakhab al-Tawarikh. In this history, he stated things about the king that the king would never tolerate if he was to come about those things. Wait, relax, wait. He specifically instructed his children to publish this book after the king is dead and I'm dead. Okay? Because if the king is to find out what I wrote in the book, he would kill me.
Okay.
And if I'm alive and the king's descendants find out, they will. So both of us. So his book was published, and we have many disturbing facts about Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. So again, wait, relax. We have examples upon examples upon examples upon examples from throughout history where historians wrote against kings while the kings were alive and ruling, right? So for someone to claim that history is written by victors, sorry,
But that wasn't very common, though.
So sorry, my
It wasn't
point.
common.
Sorry,
In your
my
own
point.
country, writing about your
Sorry, my
about your own
point.
king, no.
do you have any, again, I'm not trying to be arrogant here. Yeah, when you make a claim about a field,
Kings killed their own wives.
no,
Like, why wouldn't they kill someone right before they
you're
died?
ignoring my question.
Okay, fine.
My question is very pointed and direct.
Alright.
When you make a claim about a field, should you follow basic rules and conventions of that field or not? Yeah, you should.
Sorry,
right.
can I just
So the
continue?
basic thing about history is before you make a claim about the history of the world, you have to have basic knowledge of the history of the world. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that's why we have historians,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Thank you. So that's the point I'm making.
so my
When
point-
someone comes along and says only kings got their histories
I didn't say
written
that,
and
so-
all we know
No,
is from the
that's not what
kings.
he said. That's not what he
Yeah.
said.
Sorry, can I just ask you? Say that happened. That happened. I think probably the truth happened there to some extent. Also,
To some extent.
we don't know, right? That's my point.
No, we do know.
We don't know. I'm asking you this.
How do we-
question.
how do we-
My
how do we-
question- My question.
This is
my
why it
question-
comes back to
Can I have my-
credentials.
Let him finish.
Again,
Let him
you,
finish.
I let you finish. Let
Yeah.
me finish. If there was a coup against the leader, would that coup not have other alternative history spreads?
Yes.
Right.
Would
Okay.
that not happen?
Okay.
I'm asking you that.
Good
would
question.
that person
Okay,
also
right.
look for hearsay, gossip, to kind of diminish the
Okay, I'm
claims?
gonna
Obviously, that's the rational thing they would do.
Would there
Okay.
not also be other people
I-
who wanted the king to come have
I
downfall?
want to establish something before we continue with this conversation because I like to have pointed, fruitful conversations, not just
Yeah, what's
merry-go-round.
your answer
Okay,
to
wait. Are we discussing history and how it works? Yes or no?
I mean, he's
No, I was talking to him.
Answer
You just came. I was talking to
Are
him.
you looking for time here? What's
No. Are we discussing history and how it works?
I think have you got an answer to this question, or are you just like?
It's not a trap question.
It's
It's
not a trap
it's a
question.
question to determine our
I don't
direction.
know why you're not answering that question.
I will. Are we discussing history and how it works?
Are you answering the question? Or are we talking about the rules suddenly?
Do you understand my question?
I'm
Are
not-
we
I
discussing
had a
are we
question.
discussing history?
I have a question for
bro,
you.
answer his
Okay,
question.
if then the reason why I'm asking this question is if we are discussing history,
You answer-
then
ask that
it's a
question.
specialist field.
Okay.
It's if we are discussing heart surgery
Okay.
or neuroscience
Right.
or astrophysics, then it's a field,
Yes.
right?
Okay.
And when we discuss a field, then we have to discuss it with rules. Okay, you will not tolerate
Are you debating
a
with me or are you
shoemaker.
talking to the
No,
cameras?
I'm talking to the cameras as well.
fair, that's
Okay,
fair.
'Cause it
the
doesn't
cameras
look
are there. I
like
cannot
you're
ignore them.
It's been like over a minute now.
Okay.
These guys pay the bill.
So if someone wants to come and discuss neuroscience or astrophysics and has no idea how these fields work,
Right, no.
then
That's a fault. That's a fault.
if there is a neuroscientist, and an astrophysicist standing
Wait, but what
there
are we debating right now?
who's willing to answer the questions, then the one who is not qualified in that field should ask the question and listen carefully,
Yes, okay,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I'm a historian. I'm a qualified historian.
In what field?
History,
Of what?
medieval history. Yes, I am. Yes. Okay. And this gentleman, I asked him repeatedly, if you are a qualified historian, then we can speak on equal terms. Otherwise, it's a Q&A.
Oh, so
It's a
so
Q&A.
it's not equal terms now.
No, it's not.
So you'd have no,
No.
answer for what I asked.
Okay, ask now. It's a Q&A. I'll
I
ask.
wanna hear his question,
I'll answer your
though. I
question
wanna
now.
hear his question.
Ask your question.
So,
And then
you're
you're gonna listen to me quietly.
I
Yeah.
think you've just kind of tried to get away from
Because if
answering
you're
my
trying to,
question.
Let him answer-
why?
let him
Why would I
answer
do
the question. Let him
that?
answer the
Because
Why
you
would
have no
I
answer
ask
to
your
it.
question?
Okay, so you mentioned someone who basically had an alternative history about what happened. If there was a coup,
About what happened? About what happened?
if there was a coup for this leader, would there not be hearsay? Would there not be gossip? Would there not be people pushing their own agendas?
Everything. Yes, you're right.
So
All
does
of
that
that.
not muddle everything?
No, it doesn't.
How does that not muddle everything?
Because we know how to.
If you weren't there,
You
how
asked me a
can
question.
You know?
You asked me a question, right? It's my right to answer the question.
Go on, then.
Yeah. How do we know the history we know today is not muddled or mixed or
I think we do.
contaminated?
I think all history is muddled.
There you go. We have an expert now telling us all history is
I didn't say
all,
he's an
all
expert.
history is muddled. No, but he's making claims. Wait, he is making claims. No, he's not. How? Why does your rationality not work with astrophysics and neuroscience? Because you cannot just walk in and say, I'm a rational person, I'm going to talk about neuroscience and astrophysics, and you don't know anything about the field. Likewise, if a person is not, he asks, I'm a qualified historian, he's asking me a question, I'm giving answers, he doesn't want to listen because he has presuppositions. He has, but you cannot have presuppositions on astrophysics and neuroscience. Just like that, history is a field. You can't treat it like I can kick it around and say what I want. It doesn't work like that. No one's going to take you seriously. Yeah, and there are jokers out there who do that to history. They try to pretend, or they try to put themselves like as if they're historians. Why don't we do that with astrophysics and neuroscience or space technology? Why don't we do that? I mean, if you walked into NASA,
So you know,
if you
history
walked into one of the
with-
if you walked
with-
into one of the experimental, he's not saying anything. He's not making anything.
I don't think you answered the question.
I answered the question that okay. And next
We
question.
can go around for ages.
Thank you.
Take care of
Nice
yourself.
talking to you. Nice talking to you. So to summarize, history is not for everyone to come and slap around. Like you don't do this to other fields. When you want surgery on your kidneys, you don't go to the heart specialist, as qualified as a heart specialist may be, right? If you want your lungs fixed, you don't go to someone who's a skin specialist. Yes? If you want your stomach fixed, you don't go to someone who's an optician or someone who is an eye specialist, right? Because you respect your body, you respect your health, you wouldn't be reckless with your health. Just like that, you just don't have opinions on history and astrophysics and neuroscience and space technology, because you must talk about these things with background, with education. Otherwise, ask questions and have patience to listen to the answers.
You know what's happened here? I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah,
He wanted to ask a question, but
he was trying to answer himself.
he was not articulate enough to word it in a way that didn't show certainty in what he was saying, even though he was coming from a position of not having knowledge. And then when you challenged him on the certainty of his claim, he began to feel secure.
Yes.
And the moment you challenged him further, he's standing next to, would imagine to be a female associate, and then he's now feeling even more threatened. No, but I'm telling you what I saw, you know.
Yeah.
And then what's happened is, because you were talking about it strictly in the subject matter and devoiding the human condition from the conversation,
Yes.
he couldn't then now meet you anymore, and that conversation was over.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Look, I look, because it's my field, I wouldn't talk like this on science or astrophysics. I wouldn't open my mouth because that's not my field.
I know, but I don't.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
is emotionally sense making. How people make sense.
Okay, that's your field.
No, but
I'm
it's
pouring
okay,
that.
It's okay, yeah. But the thing is, what I've come to understand, I'm just sharing.
Whoa. Okay, no casualties. No casualties, thank God. Okay, whose camera is this?
That's mine, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we survived. Yeah, no.
मैं कराची से आया हूँ और बशीर शाह के साथ फेसबुक पे हम काम करते हैं कादियानियों के
अच्छा मुझे mics. Can I take off the mics? The conversation is over. The show is over. Okay. Look, the point is, what was the point of the conversation?
मेरी बेटी
The point of the
conversation's over.
The conversation is over. The point of the conversation was, when we ask questions, we should ask questions with an open mind, with an intention to learn, not to challenge without background knowledge. That's the point. Okay, we have too many people around the world who think they can speak on everything. We have people who are talking on politics, people who are talking on psychology, people who are talking on political affairs, people who are talking about economy.
And where is the most fundamental truth you get from? From mathematics. Always.
There you go. That's another problem.
Do you know what?
And I'm not going to indulge in that. Thank you.
Mathematics is all around the world the same.
Thank you, guys. Until further notice. Okay. Thank you.
And the conversation shuts down because mathematics
You see, the problem is we are here to educate people. The only reason we're not here to show off and score brownie points. We are here with the purpose of education. And when a conversation
I'm
is
not here to score brownie points. I'll tell you why.
No, I'm not saying you are.
I'm not here
Please
to
don't
score
get-
brownie points. You're a very fantastic guy. I've seen you on YouTube, right? I've given up teaching. Do you know why? I've given up teaching before COVID. Because I don't agree with the ideology of children teaching. Boys keeping girls. Girls go. I said to them, you can't do that. I say you can. I said, no, you can't do that.
I understand.
Like, you understand why I am very, I used to be a teacher between 2001 and 2019, right? If you ask me about, like, Islam this there, but I can explain everything. Where did mathematics come from? Islam. Where did the combination of,
Well, there is contribution made by Muslims. Yes, you're right. There are contributions
massive,
made
right?
No.
Like, listen, don't just get distracted by fucking technology. I
No,
don't like
I'm
technology.
trying to-
You know, I don't like technology. Listen, I don't like technology because you're distracted away.
I'm trying to leave. That's why.
Why was the absence of it? No, one more thing, Mike. When was the first Islamification of Europe? When? 15, 16, 17.
Submit to the Almighty God. So according to you, wives should also worship their husbands. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 22.
Take a deep breath.
Did you hear what I said?
Let me answer you.
Okay.
Okay, Jesus,
Yes.
okay, he accepted the same worship that God did. He
When?
said, if you don't
When?
honor me, those are times in the Bible, you have to study
Yes, what
it.
did he say?
Jesus said, if you don't honor me, you don't honor the Father.
Okay.
And he
Does
said,
that mean
John
worship?
chapter 17.
Does that mean worship?
John chapter
No, does that mean
17.
worship?
Yes.
Does that
John
mean
chapter
worship?
17. Yes.
Yes,
you
you
don't
sure?
honor me the same way you
You
honor
sure?
God.
Okay, okay.
You wouldn't honor me the
Okay,
same way you
okay.
honor God.
You wouldn't-
But Jesus is telling
Would
you,
you-
to honor him the
Okay,
same
can
way
I ask you a
honor
question?
God.
Can I ask you a
Why
question?
would you do that? That's idolatry.
Can I ask you a
It's not
question?
God
Can you ask you a
himself.
question?
If
From
he's
there.
not God, that
Can I
would
ask
be
you a question?
idolatry.
Can I ask you a question?
Are you willing to hear the
Okay,
answer?
to submit your will to your husbands as you would submit to the mighty
Jesus
God.
is
Does
telling
that
you
not make
to honor
the
him
husband?
the way you honor the Father.
Jesus said
if you
the
don't
same
honor
way-
Jesus,
Okay.
then you don't honor the
Shall I
Father.
answer? Shall I
you
answer?
don't honor a human
Shall I
being
answer?
the same way
Shall
you
I
honor
answer?
God.
Shall I answer?
You don't honor
Shall I answer?
a human the same way you honor God.
Okay, shall I answer?
Unless you do.
Shall I answer? Shall I answer? Shall I answer? Okay. Jesus, your Bible, Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Do you know what it says? Wives,